Imagine sitting with a group of old friends at a cozy coffee shop. Someone recalls a silly memory from your school days, or a friend awkwardly spills a drop of water onto the table. Almost instantly, a loud, lively, and contagious sound fills the air. Your mouth opens wide, your facial muscles contract, your stomach shakes in short bursts, and a forceful blast of air is pushed out of your lungs in broken sequences. Ha, ha, ho. We experience this every single day, so naturally and effortlessly that we rarely stop to ask, why do humans laugh? If you think we only laugh when we come across something funny, the truth behind this sound is far deeper and more fascinating than you might imagine. Laughter exists in almost every human culture across the globe. Newborn babies laugh out loud before they can even speak their first words. We frequently laugh even when nothing is actually funny. We laugh when we feel embarrassed, when we are nervous, during casual polite greetings, or in moments of high tension. Laughter is not just a reaction to joy. It is a biological masterpiece, a psychological relief valve, and above all, one of the oldest, most sophisticated, and most versatile social communication tools in human evolutionary history. From a basic biological standpoint, laughter is a complex physical reaction that requires the coordinated rhythm of your entire body. It is much more than just making a sound from your throat. A genuine laugh begins when your respiratory muscles and your diaphragm contract violently in short, rhythmic cycles. The corners of your mouth are pulled upward, your cheeks are pushed high, and the orbicularis oculi muscles around your eyes tighten to form tiny wrinkles, the universal sign of a true, authentic smile. When a powerful laughing fit explodes, your body seems to enter a state of organized loss of control. You gasp for air. Tears stream down your face from the pressure on your facial muscles. Your stomach aches, and your muscles temporarily lose their strength, making you want to slump over the table or grab your abdomen. It is important to remember this distinction. Smiling is primarily a facial expression used to show an attitude, whereas laughing out loud is a full-body physical event directly involving the respiratory and vocal systems. Depending on the situation and your emotional state, your brain produces several different types of laughter that serve completely different functions. The first and most recognizable type is spontaneous, joyful laughter. This is the explosive sound you make when you hear a hilarious joke, experience a delightful surprise, or play around with loved ones. However, in everyday life, the most frequently occurring type is actually social laughter. You make this sound to show politeness, to encourage the person speaking, or to broadcast a clear signal that says, "I am listening, and this conversation is friendly." You aren't laughing because their story is objectively hilarious. You are laughing to lubricate the gears of social interaction. Next is nervous or stress laughter. When you find yourself in an awkward, frightening, or embarrassing situation where you don't know how to react, your body automatically triggers a laugh. In this moment, laughter acts as a neurological release valve, helping to relieve psychological pressure on the spot. On the opposite end of connection, we have mocking laughter, a sharp social weapon used for sarcasm, putting others down, displaying superiority, and excluding an individual from a group. Finally, there is uncontrollable laughter, which happens when you are tickled, undergo intense emotional stimulation, or experience specific neurological conditions that prevent your body from stopping on its own. Let us look deeper inside the body to see what actually happens during a laughing fit. Everything starts in the respiratory system. Laughter is created when a high-pressure stream of air is forced out of your lungs by the rhythmic contractions of your diaphragm and intercostal muscles. As this pressurized air slams against your partially closed vocal cords, it creates those signature sound waves. Depending on the structure of your vocal cords, mouth cavity, and lung capacity, each of us possesses a completely unique laughing rhythm and tone. The second you start laughing, your cardiovascular system jumps into a mini workout. Your heart rate speeds up, your blood pressure rises slightly, and your breathing becomes rapid, pumping oxygen-rich blood throughout your body. Immediately after the laugh, your body shifts into a state of deep relaxation. Your blood vessels dilate, your muscles loosen, and you feel a warm, soothing relief spread from head to toe. But why do we get that sore stomach feeling after a good laugh? That is simply because your diaphragm and abdominal muscles were just contracting continuously at a high intensity. That soreness is nothing more than normal muscle fatigue from physical exertion, just like doing an intense core workout at the gym, and it is completely harmless to your digestive system. For that physical machine to activate, a neurological lightning bolt had to flash through your brain at terrifying speeds. First, the frontal cortex goes to work processing information. It analyzes the language, the context, the speaker's intentions, and decodes the connections between events. A joke can only trigger a laugh when your brain recognizes the gap between what was expected and what actually happened. The moment your brain spots that delightful surprise, the limbic system, the command center for emotion, reward, and motivation, lights up instantly. A wave of feel-good neurochemicals is released. The brain quickly sends orders down to the motor cortex, commanding your facial muscles, diaphragm, and vocal cords to fire all at once. This happens so fast that many bursts of laughter explode before your conscious mind even has time to verbally explain why the situation was funny. Laughter is a flawless fusion of rational logic and automatic reflex. Cognitive scientists and psychologists have spent centuries trying to answer a simple question. What turns an ordinary event into a funny moment that makes us burst out laughing? Today, 4 major theories help us decode this mystery. Our brain is a relentless prediction machine. When you listen to a story, your mind automatically drafts an ending based on familiar patterns. Under the incongruity theory, humor happens when 2 completely unrelated ideas or contexts are collided together unexpectedly, shattering that prediction. An authority figure suddenly doing something clumsy, a phrase with 2 completely opposite meanings, or a storyline that takes a wild last-minute turn. When your brain recognizes that absurd contradiction and takes a split second to reassemble the big picture, the reward for figuring it out is a burst of laughter. However, not every surprise or broken expectation is funny. If a wild predator suddenly appeared in your living room, you would run away in absolute terror, not sit there laughing. The benign violation theory explains that laughter only happens when a rule, a norm, or an expectation is broken, while your brain simultaneously evaluates that the violation is completely harmless and safe. If an event follows every rule perfectly, it is boring. If an event violates a rule too severely, causing real physical pain or threatening life, it triggers fear or anger. Only when the violation sits in the safe zone, like a playful tease, a minor clumsiness where nobody gets hurt, or mild sarcasm, does laughter get released. Think back to the feeling of watching an intense suspense movie, or experiencing a near-miss traffic accident on the road where you, luckily, escape unscathed. Right after the danger passes, many people suddenly burst out laughing. That is not because they don't care about safety. It is the physical mechanism of the relief theory. When you are anxious and afraid, your body builds up a massive amount of nervous energy. When you realize that everything is safe, that bottled-up energy has nowhere left to go, so your body dumps it out through laughter. This is also why, in extremely serious settings like tense corporate meetings or even funerals, some people feel a suffocating urge to laugh. It is the brain's desperate attempt to reduce overwhelming emotional pressure when it gets overloaded. A significant portion of human laughter comes from the mistakes and clumsiness of others. When you watch an arrogant character slip and fall on screen, or someone accidentally says a silly slip of the tongue, you laugh. The superiority theory suggests that when we witness another person's blunder, our brain experiences a brief moment of feeling safe and superior to them. The gap between a character's overconfidence and their actual failure provides the raw material for most comedy. However, the line here is razor thin. If superiority laughter is aimed directly at a vulnerable person or carries malicious intent, it immediately devolves into mockery, bullying, and humiliation. Here is a fascinating statistical fact. Humans are 30 times more likely to laugh when they are with other people than when they are alone. Furthermore, if you observe everyday conversations, 80% of the times people laugh do not follow a joke at all, but follow completely ordinary statements like, "I will see you later," or "It is really cold outside today." This confirms a fundamental evolutionary truth. Laughter was born primarily as a social behavior, not an intellectual reaction to humor. It is the social glue of human relationships. When you laugh with someone, you are broadcasting a clear biological message. I like you. I am not a threat. I agree with you, and we are on the same team. Laughter lowers defenses, encourages sharing, and creates immediate intimacy. Even more remarkable is that laughter is highly contagious. The mirror neuron system in our brains is hardwired to react automatically when we hear the sound of another human laughing. Even if you walk into a room and have no idea why everyone is laughing, you still feel the corners of your mouth lift as you get the urge to join in. This contagious effect helps synchronize the mood of an entire group, erasing distance between strangers and building a powerful sense of belonging. This is exactly why television sitcoms use laugh tracks. When your brain hears a crowd laughing, it automatically assumes the moment is funny and primes you to laugh much more easily. But what about laughing when we get tickled? Why do we laugh uncontrollably when someone touches our armpits, ribs, or the soles of our feet, even when we don't enjoy the feeling at all? Those sensitive spots are actually vulnerable target areas on the human body. The tickle-induced laugh is fundamentally a protective defense reflex and a remnant of childhood social play. You cannot tickle yourself because your brain always predicts the exact location, pressure, and timing of your own touch, completely erasing the surprise factor. When someone else tickles you, that unpredictability triggers a physiological reflex laugh. It is crucial to remember that laughing from being tickled is an automatic reflex. It does not mean the person is having fun or giving consent to continue. The capacity to laugh is deeply engraved in our evolutionary map. Just observe a newborn baby. Smiling and laughing are an infant's very first language, appearing long before they learn how to speak words or understand social rules. Babies laugh when playing peekaboo, a game that perfectly demonstrates the theory of safe surprise. When an adult covers their face, they disappear. When the hands open, the face returns. This mild surprise, paired with a parent's warm smile, sends the baby a vital survival message. The world holds surprises, but they are safe and loving. Looking across the animal kingdom, humans are not the only creatures that laugh. When scientists study chimpanzees, gorillas, or even rats while they play, wrestle, or chase each other, they make distinct broken breathing sounds or high-frequency ultrasonic chirps. In the wild, behaviors like wrestling, gentle biting, and chasing look very similar to actual combat. The ancient primate laugh evolved as an insurance policy. This is just play. I am biting you without hurting you. Please do not attack me for real. Human laughter is a brilliant evolutionary leap from those primitive play signals. Early human tribes who used laughter to prevent misunderstandings, de-escalate conflicts, and boost cooperation had a much higher chance of bonding and surviving. Today, human laughter is far more complex than animal play signals, thanks to language and culture. We don't just laugh at physical wrestling. We laugh at clever wordplay, sharp irony, philosophical paradoxes, and abstract ideas. Concepts that require a brain capable of high-level contextual processing. In our daily social lives, laughter is a powerful double-edged sword. On the bright side, it is an incredible conflict resolution engine. During a heated argument, a well-timed joke or a gentle laugh can cool the room down instantly, breaking through defensive walls and helping both sides see the absurdity of the situation, so they can reconcile. When we drop something, trip, or make a minor mistake in public, self-deprecating laughter acts as a silent apology. I know I just did something clumsy. I admit it. Please view this as harmless and do not judge me. That embarrassed laugh is a shield protecting our social standing. Even when watching a horror movie or riding a roller coaster, bursting into laughter right after being scared is the body's way of celebrating safety. We transform primitive fear into joy within a controlled environment. On the dark side, however, laughter can be used as a tool for division and bullying. We must clearly distinguish between laughing with someone and laughing at someone. When everyone laughs together, everyone feels safe and included. When a group laughs at an individual, laughter becomes a weapon to degrade human dignity, assert power, and isolate that person. Inside jokes are the clearest proof of this divide. They build immense bonding for insiders who understand the context, but turn an outsider into an excluded, confused, and alienated bystander. The excuse, "I was just kidding," can never erase the damage if the targeted person feels humiliated, hurt, and asks for it to stop. Mature, healthy humor is designed to connect people, not to trample on someone's self-esteem. Because laughter is heavily driven by cognition, it varies wildly across different cultures and personal experiences. A joke that makes an entire auditorium roar with laughter in one country might leave people in another country sitting in confused silence or feeling offended. This happens because humor relies on shared background knowledge, social norms, and language patterns. Puns and wordplay based on double meanings or sound structures are almost impossible to translate directly into another language without losing their comedic impact. Cultural norms also dictate who is allowed to tease whom, which topics are taboo, and when it is acceptable to laugh loudly in public. Yet, no matter how different our comedic languages might be, the physical sound of laughter remains a universal, global signal. A person in a remote wilderness and someone in a modern metropolis both instantly understand the message of friendliness when they hear a genuine laugh. In modern communication, we are especially fond of sarcasm and irony. This is a form of humor where the speaker conveys a meaning completely opposite to the literal words they use. The entertainment comes from the listener using their intellect to peel back two layers of meaning: what was spoken and the true intention hidden underneath, guided by tone and context. While clever, sarcasm easily leads to misunderstandings if both parties do not share enough trust and mutual understanding. On a deeper psychological level, laughter is an engine that helps humans cope with adversity and trauma. When you go through a painful event or a stressful crisis, being able to smile and joke about the struggle shifts your perspective. It temporarily pulls you out of the role of a helpless victim, handing you back a sense of ownership and control over your own story. People working in high-pressure environments like emergency room doctors, firefighters, or soldiers often develop a very unique, dark sense of humor. Laughter helps them share the immense pressure, release bottled-up stress, and remind each other that they are not alone in the dark. However, if you constantly use laughter and jokes to avoid truly facing your pain, humor turns into a defensive wall that blocks the healing of deep psychological wounds. Perhaps you have experienced this paradox. Why do we get the strongest urge to laugh in serious situations where laughing is strictly forbidden, such as in a classroom, a formal meeting, or a ceremony? When a behavior is banned, the neurological pressure to control it skyrockets. That pent-up tension makes the brain hypersensitive, turning even the tiniest detail into something hysterically funny. The harder you try to hold it in, the stronger the explosive energy becomes, resulting in silent but violent fits of laughter. A similar phenomenon is the unstoppable laughter loop. When a group of friends laughs together, one person's laugh triggers another, creating a continuous feedback loop. Even after everyone forgets the original reason for laughing, seeing someone gasp for air while trying to suppress a laugh becomes the new reason to keep laughing. These exhausting laughing fits usually happen late at night when the body is tired and the frontal lobe's self-control has weakened. People often say that laughter is the best medicine. Is it really a medical cure? Physiologically, laughter certainly brings wonderful benefits. It reduces the stress hormone cortisol, prompts the brain to release endorphins, our natural painkillers, and triggers deep muscle relaxation. When you laugh, you temporarily distract your mind from physical pain and feel a sense of emotional relief. However, we must look at this scientifically and realistically. Laughter is not a cure-all magic pill. It cannot replace medicine, medical therapy, or proper sleep. Exaggerated claims that laughter can cure serious chronic illnesses overstate the scientific evidence. The greatest health value laughter provides is actually its psychological and social benefit. It cures loneliness, connects you to a supportive network, and ultimately builds a much stronger mental immune system. Have you ever wondered why we sometimes cry from laughing so hard? During a powerful laughing fit, the muscles around your eyes contract violently, placing direct physical pressure on your tear ducts and squeezing tears out onto your face. At the same time, the rapid, broken breathing and diaphragm spasms during intense laughter mirror the exact physiological reactions of a sobbing cry. When intense joy and positive excitement exceed your nervous system's normal threshold, your brain uses both tears and laughter simultaneously to burn off the excess energy, helping your body return to a balanced state as quickly as possible. In your social interactions, are you confident that you can always tell the difference between a genuine laugh and a fake laugh? Authentic, spontaneous laughter features a natural rhythm, uncontrollable volume, sudden onset, and always involves the contraction of the muscles around the eyes, creating eye crinkles. On the other hand, deliberate, voluntary laughter usually sounds more even, shorter, lacks pitch variation, and only involves the muscles around the mouth. While nobody is fooled every time, the human brain is remarkably good at using context and tone to separate the two. Still, do not rush to judge a deliberate laugh as deceitful or hypocritical. Someone offering a polite social laugh, even when a story isn't funny, is simply showing respect, goodwill, and keeping the atmosphere harmonious, an essential empathetic skill in civilized society. Individual differences in how we laugh are equally fascinating. Why do some people have a booming laugh that fills the room, while others only chuckle quietly? This is determined by two factors: biological anatomy and personality combined with upbringing. The physical structure of your vocal cords, the shape of your mouth, and your lung capacity create your unique pitch and tone. Some people laugh in short bursts, some wheeze, and some inhale deeply while laughing. Additionally, if someone grew up in a family and culture that encourages emotional expression, they will lean toward louder laughter. Conversely, introverts, or people raised to maintain quiet decorum in public, will control their volume much more. Furthermore, because we are social creatures, we tend to subconsciously mimic the laughing rhythm and style of our closest friends and family members. However, there is a serious medical side that requires attention. When does laughter become a health warning sign? If a person suddenly experiences uncontrollable, explosive laughing fits that do not match the situation at all, such as laughing hysterically during a tragic or terrifying event, and this reaction repeats without reflecting their actual inner emotions, it could be a symptom of pseudobulbar affect, or point to neurological damage, seizures, or brain disorders. These situations require professional medical evaluation, rather than being brushed off as a personality quirk. In today's technological era, scientists are working hard to teach artificial intelligence and robots how to understand and generate laughter. Machines can easily analyze sound frequencies, pitch, and rhythm to separate spontaneous laughter from polite social laughter. But teaching a machine to understand the true meaning behind a laugh is an enormous challenge. The exact same ha-ha sound can mean pure joy, embarrassment, bitter sarcasm, or extreme anxiety. To truly understand it, a machine must grasp the entire cultural context, the relationship between the two speakers, and microfacial expressions, things that require a biological empathy machines simply do not possess. This is why when we hear a robot or virtual assistant laugh, it almost always feels stiff, artificial, and slightly uncanny. Before we finish our journey, let us clear up 6 of the most common myths about laughter that still linger in many people's minds. Myth number 1 is that we only laugh when we see something funny. The truth is that most daily laughter is born from social communication, politeness, stress relief, embarrassment, or a desire to connect. Myth number 2 is that laughing means a person is happy. The truth is that laughter frequently appears during negative psychological states like fear, anxiety, physical pain, or feeling trapped. Myth number 3 is that laughter is always positive. The truth is that when misused, laughter is a cruel weapon, used to mock, bully, humiliate, and isolate others. Myth number 4 is that laughing a lot is a magic cure for all illnesses. The truth is that laughter provides great psychological support and muscle relaxation, but it is not a replacement for professional medical treatment. Myth number 5 is that a person who rarely laughs is cold and unfriendly. The truth is that expressing laughter depends heavily on introversion, cultural norms, and self-control, and does not reflect the warmth inside someone's soul. And myth number 6 is that if someone laughs when tickled, it means they are enjoying it. The truth is that the tickle response is an automatic physiological reflex of the nervous system, and the person being tickled could be feeling extremely uncomfortable and wanting you to stop immediately. After all these discoveries, why haven't scientists come up with a single, ultimate equation to explain why we laugh? Because laughter is not a single-function event. It is a miraculous convergence of multiple systems operating all at once. The brain recognizing surprise, the nervous system evaluating safety, the respiratory muscles producing sound, and the surrounding community receiving it as a social signal. Humor is entirely subjective. A story that makes one person weep with laughter might leave another feeling annoyed or completely indifferent. Furthermore, we must clearly separate the trigger, meaning what made you laugh, from the evolutionary function, meaning why nature preserved this reaction in humans. You might burst out laughing because of a joke, but that laugh is actually doing the job of bonding you with your colleagues and lowering stress in the room. Laughter sits at the intersection of instinctual biology and intellectual culture, a phenomenon that is both universally human and deeply personal in every single moment. We humans laugh for countless reasons. We laugh to celebrate safety after danger passes. We laugh to share the joy of a delightful surprise. We laugh to diffuse a tense argument. We laugh to protect our pride in awkward moments. And we laugh to build bridges of connection with the people around us. Every time you burst out laughing, your body is not just mechanically reacting to a joke. You are expressing one of the oldest, brightest, and most humane sounds of life. It is a biological signal that cuts through every language barrier to tell the world, right here, right now, we are safe. We understand each other, and we are ready to share this beautiful moment together.